today we are going to play Dull Gray. I don't know much about this. I know it's a visual novel kind of game, so I'm going to do my best to read everything. I hope you guys are having a great week, and we're going to see what we can do. So without further ado, let's start. She sits and stares into space. Ash-colored hair arranged in a bun. Eyes are watering. "Give your granny a hug," says Mother. He comes, bends over to the armchair, and cuddles the wizened, declining body. The old lady struggles to open her arms in response. "And who is it? Who's this?" she mumbles. "This is your lovely grandson, Kyusha. Remember how you looked after him? How you taught him alphabet? Letter G, guys, shh." Mother gestures, showing splashes of water. Kyusha, the old lady pronounces the name as a meaningless sequence of sounds. Guys, shh, repeats Mother, and then adds with a bitter chuckle. And a person is gone. He wants to withdraw, but Mother puts her hand on his shoulder. Stay with your granny for longer. It won't hurt. We have been living together for a year, and you could have called on her yourself just once. Just for a friendly chat without me bringing you here." He stops. The old lady is wearing a green dressing gown with flower patterns. It has recently been washed and smells of cheap washing powder. Kira can hear her heart beating. Thump thump. It's warm. They're home. Two poky tin bunkhouses pressed against each other. Their doors open to a common porch. His father built it using parts of broken robots and was very proud of his work. Now it is used as a clothes dryer, and Granny's rocking chair stands under its rusty overhang. And it's surrounded by steam. Steam, hot springs, mountains, pale sky, and silence. "Today is an important day," says Mother. "We are going to choose a profession for Kia." "What?" A beetle is crawling up the bunkhouse wall. It stops and slowly and thoroughly cleans its wings. It's springtime, even though snow is still lying everywhere. "A profession for Kyusha. They've got these rules nowadays. Progress program gives us options, and we have to choose." Mother noisily sighs. Strokes her son's back. "Oh, my troublemaker, what will you be?" I think I want to be a lamplighter. It sounds kind of fun, but a tallyman I think would make more money. "A tallyman, a modern profession," she says. "A respected one, and Uncle Corny liked it too. And don't you frown, don't frown. Uncle Corny only wants what's best for you, and you know that." And adds to herself, "Oh, I hope he'll manage to master it. That's the greatest concern." Interesting so far. They go, one after the other, along a narrow metal bridge holding the rails. The bridge is shaking under their feet. Its metal sound is drowning in the squelching of mud currents. The air is heavy and humid. Mother leads the way, but constantly turns around, gestures, exclaims. Her son walks on morose, silent, and lost in thought. They walk for a long time. "The great flame!" Mother suddenly stops. "What is this?" A dark giant with square netted eyes is leaning over the road. Its metal spider legs are sinking in mud. "Scared me to death, you stupid piece of metal!" exclaims Mother. "What is it doing here? Did anything explode again?" This is a Geos maintenance robot. The two fragments on its back look like arrows in a giant quiver. Strangely enough, it is not doing anything, just turning its head, as if it's waiting for something. They cautiously approach, pass between its legs, constantly looking around. Mother is holding her son's hand. As soon as they get behind the robot's back, the giant thing turns with clanking and screeching. Somewhere high above, a sandpiper flies up with an alarming cry. "Oh, what is it doing?" asks Mother. Her son shrugs his shoulders. "All right, let's move on," says Mother, for some reason, in a whisper. The robot follows them. It pulls out its legs from the sticky mud with loud squelching sounds, moves in several steps, dashes, often stops to turn its head around as if sniffing. Mother is nervous, biting her lips. Her hands are cold. But why would anyone get nervous? It's just a robot. Lost its way, usual business. A chain of signals got broken, and the only thing to do is to go to the nearest road and wait to be taken away. Taking Kerr to school, his father helped such machines get back on their way a few times. Half an hour later, the robot's loudspeaker suddenly activates, and it says in an even, mechanical voice, "What profession have you chosen?" In response, Mother quickens her pace. Her son struggles to keep up with her. The robot follows them, and after another dash repeats, "What profession have you chosen?" "A tallyman." "A tallyman," Mother finally gabbles over her shoulder. "Oh," says the robot and falls silent for a long time. Then adds, "Don't go for a tallyman." "Why is that?" asked Mother. "They are parasites, dumb and fat. Everyone despises them." It pauses again as if concentrating. His loudspeakers crackle. "In Algova, no one wants to be a tallyman anymore. They get candidates from dumps such as this." "Don't listen to him," says Mother quietly. Her son nods. The robot adds, "Tallymans are an error of progress program. An embarrassing error." The plot thickens. Didn't know we'd be talking so much. The station is right ahead at the bottom of the crater. Black, massive, and drowning in steam. Lines of rods protruding from its flat roof that look like a gigantic hairbrush. Some of its teeth are occupied by spike heads. They slowly turn, blink while charging. Some orange light goes blinking in the fog too, as if responding to the spike heads. Dull, constant humming is audible. Mother waves her hand and shouts, "Hey, hello, hey! Do they see us? I sent them a message on the net. They should be waiting for us," and immediately clasps her hands. "The net! Was there any connection today?" The son snorts, points at the spike heads. If the servers are there, the net should be available. "They have so many of them there. Previously, I remember that just after you were born, we had to find something out, and some medicine perhaps. But unfortunately there was no Spiky around, and you wouldn't stop crying. It was horrible." She suddenly stops laughing and asks, "Do you think they will accept this one?" She nods at the robot behind them. "Or will it trail behind us till thermal?" Her son shrugs. It depends on whose shift it is today. They accepted this one, and had a good laugh about how the robot characterized professions. Of course, these were the controllers. The communications department is full of kids. They use the timetable to figure out who could stumble into the robot and decide to play a joke on you. "But, it spoke in such a way." "Oh, don't take it too seriously." It's Aunt Tamara. She is wearing a uniform jacket, an embroidered scarf around her neck, and earrings. She is sitting at a big window with Mother and drinking tea, putting cups on the corner of the table between piles of paperwork. Aunt Tamara's daughter is typing a little farther away in an armchair, holding a portable computer on her lap. Her name is Yana. She is keeping her back straight and her expression stern. Son can't take his eyes off her. She notices it and shrugs her thin shoulders in discontent. Of course, she is a grown-up, 2 years older than him, and already has a proper job. Behind the armchair there are handrails and a long staircase going down into the darkness of a maintenance workshop. A robot accepted for preventative maintenance stares from the dark. They have already dismantled its legs. So what are you going to do now? Asked Aunt Tamara. To Thermal. We're going to Thermal to meet the navigator. Oh, the navigator is such a handsome man, and he travels in a train that I've never seen before. I even envy you. Come on, there's nothing to envy. We are bags of nerves. And Tamara nods understandingly. Well, jokes apart, what profession have you chosen? Tallyman, replies Mother. Are you kidding? Are these the wrestlers who go around the world and do God knows what? Well, Capcar, this is beyond me. They say it's a good profession. Who says? Who says that? And Tamara chokes with anger. Her daughter, on the contrary, suddenly stops typing and takes a somewhat curious glance at Kerr, embarrassing him. Tallymans! Those parasites and do-nothings! And Tamara continues to boil. They are controlling progress program, objects Mother. It turns out, rather hesitantly, the phrase is clearly a cliche. Oh, just listen to yourself. Controlling progress program? Tell me another one. There's nothing but a show. For idiots like you, they already have it all controlled and made the decision a long time ago, and without green kids. Okay, I'm going to the kitchen, loudly declares Yana, then rises and subtly motions to Kerr to follow her. Go ahead, waves Aunt Tamara. The kitchen is a The only source of light is round holes in the ceiling. The door on the fridge is covered with souvenir magnets. A headless robot frame sits in the corner. Don't listen to my mom, smiles Yana. It's so like her, imagining things. Kerr nods. And why did you stop going to school? Yana asks. He mumbles something like, well, you see... Is it because of what happened to your father? It must be really tough. And why wouldn't you move to Thermal? At least you have people around. Kerr repeats as usual, well, you'll see. And points somewhere behind his back. Your mom doesn't want to? Kerr nods. You are so untalkative. Are you afraid of me? He intensely shakes his head. Yana takes out a mirror, turns to the light, and spends some time contemplating her own reflection. She then unbinds her hair with a single motion and asks, Tell me, am I beautiful? Kerr looks at her, astonished and thrilled. Oh, she checks herself. Stop! Hold on. You got it all wrong. You're still just a kid. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I meant quite a different thing. Kerr's thoughts are in turmoil. He doesn't know what to do and what to feel. The whole situation sends shivers up his spine. The sound of Mother's loud voice comes from the workshop. You see? He wants nothing! Absolutely nothing! And what do I do? What? Yana continues. Don't say anything. No need. But let me tell you one thing. Her eyes flash with strong emotions. You know what? Get away from here if you have a chance. You need to go away. Kerr nods slowly and hesitantly. Tell me the truth. Who do you want to be? A lamplighter, says Mother, entering the kitchen. Get ready, Kiru. It's time to go. Everybody's got opinions. Gondola. A two-seater metal cage slowly moving above a milk-white sea of steam. It creaks. Rocks. The outlines of the mountain are barely visible. The settlement of Thermal is on the opposite slope. They've almost arrived. Mother looks very sad, head down, her chin resting on clasped hands. Suddenly, in front of them, from the fog, there rises a whistling and moaning geyser. It falls down, only to shoot up again, roaring and gaining strength, rising higher and higher. Gondola stops. It tripped a sensor. Now it will turn into an ordeal. The net connection has been lost too. Son pushes refresh button on the tablet several times. Sighs. Mother starts crying. Murky tears mixed with mascara run down her cheeks. Right here. It happened right here, she whispers. Shh. But she's wrong. It didn't happen here. It happened a few miles to the north. His father was making a new signal path for robots, routine work done hundreds of times. But that day he slipped on a patch in dirt and fell into boiling water. Got boiled alive. The great flame! The great all-forgiving flame! Mother keeps whispering, how could you let it happen? How? How is it even possible in the best of the worlds? In the just world? They buried him a year ago. Granny, still in her senses, lit the traditional funeral fire herself. Brushed everything away with a single swing of her hand. This was the last dominant gesture in her life. Her eyes faded together with the last flames. Starting from that moment, the three of them lived in the metal bunkhouses away from the settlement, from other people, away from life. Mother was afraid of geysers and wouldn't let him go to school. He had to take an online distance learning course. Robots would deliver their food. It was boring. Sometimes Uncle Corny would call on them, talk for a long time in his even voice, about profession, about choice, and about something else that was important. He would say, "Now listen carefully," and Kerr failed to do that every time. "What will become of you, my son?" says Mother through tears. "My case is clear. I'm a done deal. But you, it's breaking my heart." Kerr carefully touches her still clasped hands. She looks up and asks, "What will you be, Sonny?" "Lamplighter," she says without waiting for his reply. "And you will go away into this cursed fog every day, and you will perish there one day just like your father." A school, a tall rectangular building on the slope of a mountain. Long, narrow windows form steps on its facade. He stands with Uncle Corny on a rusty balcony. Mother is inside collecting his school supplies. What can one collect there for so long? His school shoes? His broken tablet? Strange. "You've got to remember that progress program is the greatest blessing and the greatest evil of modern times," says Uncle Corny. He is always very polite, neat, and absolutely unemotional. Like a robot, even worse. Listening to him is a torture. In fact, he is no uncle to Kerr, and not a teacher. He is a local technical administrator. He provides access to the net for all visitors. The school is not really a school, rather a club. Sending children there is already no more than a custom. Parents do it to make them socialize and get them out of the house. "Today, Progress Program has almost unlimited control over people's lives, and it's excellent," continues Uncle Corny. "We see what wonderful fruits it yields all over the world." He makes a gesture that sweeps across the horizon. Somewhere in the distance, hundreds of miles away, there stands the city of Alcova, the model city, the dream city, the fruit city. They cannot see it from here. What they can see are ramshackle 5-story houses in the settlement of Thermal. A flock of sandpipers flies from one house to another, maneuvering between cables. Unfortunately, each program has errors, says Uncle Corny, and in Progress Program's case, these errors are disastrous. Here he suddenly chuckles. Kerr gives him a bewildered look. Excuse me, says Uncle, turning away and hastily whispering, God bless and save us. What Kerr's father really hated was the believers in the flame, called them Sigans. But his father liked very few people. Granny, yes. Mother, perhaps. Kerr. This is why Progress Program needs independent supervisors, tallymans, continues Uncle. Of course, this is a great responsibility. You'll have to learn a lot, visit a lot of places and gain These are very intricate mechanisms, he adds with another chuckle, embarrassing himself. Trust me. Trust me, it's not for nothing that they have chosen you. This means that the program detected certain personality traits in you. Outstanding traits. And this is a great honor, not just for you, but also for us. For the whole thermal. Getting rid of just one error, you can repair dozens, hundreds of lives. I would gladly. Here Uncle Corny stops and closes his eyes. Inconspicuous and neatly dressed, a bald spot on his head is still visible through his combed back hair. A short, lonely man. That's what he is. He calms down, opens his eyes, and asks, But tell me the main thing. What decision have you made? What will you be? Tallyman! He'll be a tallyman! Replies Mother, stepping out onto the balcony. What can you do if it's your destiny? It's good. It's the thing to do. It will be better for everyone this way. It's all in the flame's will. It certainly is in the flame's will, he adds. Son, give us some time. We need to have a word in private, says Mother. Kerr nods obediently and disappears into the doorway. After he leaves, sirens start wailing in the settlement of Thermal. Now the school is empty. Sounds echo in desolate arched walls. Walls are decorated with dull mosaics showing episodes of space exploration. Pots with flowers doubled their numbers in mirrors. Kerr is happy that he managed to get away from adults. He wants to do the thing that he planned to do for a long time. He intends to get into mischief, use his hacking tool. It's the program that he created a year ago, but had no time to run because of his father's death. Now it's time to do it. He knows what is going to happen to him after he meets the Navigator. Kerr finds his terminal. His favorite cup with a cheerful robot is still inside the drawer of his desk. Unwashed and stained brown, there's a layer of dust on the keyboard. The screen lights up. The program launches. A faint smile appears on his face. It's time to have fun. He goes through the profiles of his schoolmates and edits their photos, turns them upside down, adds a mustache, horns, or an elephant's trunk. Stops on Yana's photo. Looks at her for a long time. She is stunningly beautiful. He wants to draw a heart on her photo. Makes an attempt, but cannot find the strength to do it. Instead, he turns the terminal off and slowly shuffles back to the balcony. Kerr pushes the door and sees a strange scene. Mother is crying. And Uncle Corny hugs her, kisses her forehead, and apparently says a prayer. When they notice Kerr, they jump from each other like scalded cats. So, starts Uncle Corny, but gets stopped by a cough. So what is your final choice? Finally asks. A lamplighter, says Mother. Quickly, without looking at Uncle Corny, she takes Kier's hand and they leave. Was the mother's choice versus the father's choice. Interesting. The settlement of Thermal, a tiny waiting room at the railway station, armchairs with torn covers, portraits of the leaders of the past, stuffy air. The navigator's train is late. This is a rare occurrence under progress program control. This is why Mother got worried and went to the control room to ask for information. Kerr is looking out the window, his head propped up with his fist. There are pylons, mountains, cables. A big-headed station robot is trudging along somewhere. Nothing extraordinary. There's about a dozen of dead flies between the thick, dim doubled glazing. This is more interesting. How did they even get there? Kerr gets sunk in his thoughts. Hey, dude! There's an unshaven fellow in a dirty leather jacket standing in the doorway. Kerr mumbles something in response. Fellow sits next to him, fidgets in the armchair. Grins. You're the lamplighter's son, right? Kerr nods. Was a decent man, booms the fellow. He once slammed one of ours, really showed him hell. Decent. Smells of wine and sweat. His hands are shaking on the armrest. His feet are black with dirt. Why are you stuck out here like a sore thumb, failing that 5-year plan? Kerr mumbles as usual. Well, you see... Oh, you're waiting for the navigator to choose a profession, I reckon. I had a profession too. Worked at the GOES. Was a senior machinist on the pipe shop. And then robots came and took everything away. The profession, and the fellow gives out a sound similar to the roar. Do you know who I am now, dude? Kerr shakes his head. Fellow leans forward and says in a loud whisper, I'm a revolutionary. We spend some time in silence. A train whistles. Progress program is making slaves out of us, continues the fellow. And we need to fight it. And do you know what our main weapon is? No. Wits, he says, and bursts into half roar, half laughter. Look at me. I'm free as a bird, yet I in the heart of a prison. I'm giving you a good advice. You need to live this way. And the revolutionary shows a swimming fish with his hands. Grins. Alright, dude. Now tell me, what type of slavery have you chosen? He'll become a lamplighter, says Mother, coming into the waiting room. Her voice is brisk and angry. Now get lost, scoundrel! Ha! It's the fellow's only reply. Exiting the room, he adds, You'll be working your damn fingers to the bone all your life and then pop off like your father. Mother goes pale. It's chasing him away. Clanking of the arriving train stops her. A tall and well-built navigator. His open coat reveals a well-formed and a well-ironed suit. His lips are pursed disapprovingly. He looks around. It's dirty here, but it's fine. We'll deal with it too. We'll tidy up here as well. As he speaks, he casually brushes a fleck of dust off his sleeve. Mother stares at him in fascination. What's wrong? Asks the navigator. Replies Mother. Your eyes are glowing. Kerr also noticed it. These were not eyes, but two bright blue flashlights cutting through the darkness with their light. Serious, son. Can you see it too? I noticed it before during our conversations on the net, but I thought this was an effect. What do you call it? Computer generated. But it is so in real life as well. Amazing! Replied the navigator, brushes another fleck of dust off. No, not so casually as before, then says, These are implants. Do you like it? Oh! Exclaims Mother. I love it! Glad. Now please come in, comrades. We have a serious task to do. The carriage is light and tidy. It has no windows. Lines of screens go along the walls, one on top of the other. There's a swivel high-back leather armchair in the middle. The audio system is playing classical music. Take a seat. I'll be back in a minute, says the navigator. They settle on the couch in front of the armchair. First Kerr, then Mother, They sit right on the edge with their backs straight. Looking at the screens. They show people Uncle Corny and Tamara. Yana. Can you see our old woman there? Asked Mother in a whisper. Her son shakes his head. They never install cameras in houses. These are the rules. It's a shame, she continues. We could have had a look. I'm sure she invited old men to have a drinking bout. The thought seems extremely amusing to her. She sits back on the couch, nudges her son's shoulder. Keep your cool, Kirill. We can do it. Everything will be alright. Navigator returns. He's holding a bulging bag with Algov's emblem on it. Something similar to an antenna is protruding from the bag. These are presents, he says. You'll get them after making your choice. Then he delivers a long, official congratulatory speech from one of the screens. It's overflowing with standard cliches such as the first big step in your life, civic responsibility, and equal importance of every person and every profession for progress program. And it ends with a direct path to a brighter future. Finally, he puts his tablet aside and looks at Kerr with his glowing eyes. Finally, he puts his tablet, and he attentively, inquisitively. Mother's high spirits sink awfully low by that time. Sitting with her head down, tugging her hair, looking troubled. Well, says the navigator, it's time to make up your mind. What profession have you chosen? Lamplighter, says Mother, and gives a heavy sigh. Navigator turns his gaze, stays silent for a while, starts typing something with one hand. The probability of you setting the boy up for an unhappy future at this moment is high. His voice is unemotional, empty. Are you sure about your choice? I'm not sure about anything anymore. Navigator sits back, stretches his tight neck, and focuses on Kier again. All right, let's make another attempt. So what profession do you choose? Lamplighter, says Mother, and gives a heavy sigh. Navigator glances. I'm afraid you're setting the boy up for an unhappy future again. Are you sure about your choice? Is there another way? Asks Mother. Yes, Navigator replies. But how? What should I do? Should? Does the Navigator. Or shouldn't? He asks after a pause and stares intensely at Kerr. Hand folded on his chest, he is sitting silent and frowning. My son, Miss Mother, I know that it all seems to be foredoomed to you. You see two identical ruts on a straight dull road. The road leading to old age, to death, and nothing can be changed. But it can be changed, right now, regardless of what you previously thought or said. This opportunity is the greatest gift of Progress Program to people. You need to understand one thing. It's not only your choice that matters, but also the way you make it. I don't understand, Mother shakes her head. I've said enough. What happens next is up to you. Navigator sits back, stretches his tight neck. Well, all right, let's make another attempt. What profession do you choose? I don't know. The Navigator smiles, showing his white and straight teeth. His whole face changes as if getting younger. Now you are talking, he almost purrs. That's the way. This moment, Mother jumps up. I'm sorry, son. She sobs and runs out. Her son jerks forward to run after her, but unexpectedly for himself changes his mind. Instead, he pulls himself together and sits up. They are left one-on-one. The Navigator keeps on smiling. It's not an easy choice. I understand, but you know the answer, right? What would you like to be, Kirill? I think we follow the father. Excellent choice, he says. Makes a wide swipe on the tablet with his finger. And Kirill becomes a lamplighter. In a few years, he will graduate from school, master his trade, and work in the mountains for days on end in steam and squelching mud. His face will become weather-beaten and rough. Burn scars will appear on his left hand. Getting back home, he will always call on his old granny first and just sit by her side, sometimes reading aloud. She will soon die, amazingly peacefully and quietly. Mother will not grieve for a long time, and will soon announce that she is going to marry Uncle Corny. Her son will shrug it off, wish them a happy marriage, but will refuse to move to the settlement. He will meet Yana at their wedding, and will dance. This will be the second or third dance in Kira's life. It will be clumsy, but he will try to do his best, with a very serious face. Yana will burst into laughter. They will then write to each other on the net once, twice. And little by little, Yana will move into his pokey little bunkhouse. She will quickly arrange things her own way. We'll have colors, blues, oranges, pinks. Getting back home from work will become more pleasant. And by the end of the next 5-year plan period, they will already be expecting a baby. There is no maternity hospital in the settlement of Thermal, so they will have to travel to the regional center. Everyone will accompany them. Kira's mother, Uncle Corny, Aunt Tamara, and even the unshaven fellow in a leather jacket. But this time he will be clean-shaven and get a suit from somewhere. I've got a grandson now, he will tell everyone pompously. I'm starting a new life! The navigator comes over to get in touch with him. He will give them a reserved congratulation and remind that many challenges still lie ahead. Still, that childbirth fills you with energy and joy, but it is great responsibility too. To the child, to yourself, to the whole society. And if you drown in everyday life, stop looking around and trying to do your best. The joy will soon go away. And the desperate, suffocating dull gray will be the only thing left. The end. Thanks for playing. So that was a good one. I think we ended on a good note there. I definitely think I'll play some more later because I want to see all the achievements. But this is one of those games I think that it's a good story, and it does show that free choice is still a thing. So I'm definitely happy we were able to play this. And for all of you watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it if you do like it, subscribe if you really like it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.